Hello, I'm Pinar Toprak, the composer of the series Stargirl, and I'm going to show you a scene from season 1, episode 3. Stargirl is a character created by Jeff Johns. It follows the story of Courtney Whitmore, who finds a cosmic staff and then becomes the inspiration for the next generation of superheroes that make up the Justice Society of America.
A kid's looking right at me.
Not for long.
This is how I scored the scene, but if you head over to spitfireaudio.com, you can download the file and have a go for yourself. You have a chance to win an Everything Drive from Spitfire Audio, a mentoring session with me, and a signed copy of the Stargirl theme score. Usually when working on a series like this, we don't have a lot of time. A scene like this I have to do in less than a day, full mock-up and everything. So there isn't a whole lot of time to think about things. So the first thing that I usually do is figuring out my main points. Okay, this is the action part, this is the drama part, this is the tension part. So I make sure I carve out those moments first, and then I work individually in those sections and then kind of smooth out the transitions. This is a full-on orchestral score, so there's a lot of notes, and except then maybe the last bit of the scene, in this particular scene where I have more pads and things evolving, there's just a lot of notes that need to be written. So the challenge is always trying to be as musically interesting as possible, hitting everything and doing it in a really short amount of time. In the series, we actually get to use a live orchestra for every episode, but what I'm about to show you is the mock-up. So this is a scene that goes through a lot of mood changes. So we need to make sure that all of those changes do happen, obviously, when they need to happen, but it happens organically at the right time. So we start out kind of just, straight on action. And then when Pat says, "I got it," and we see this shot of him flying, it's a big hero moment. So we got the horns and strings and all of that good stuff over here. And then the next section that was important to hit was when Courtney raises up the staff, and that's when her theme comes in. As far as the mood goes, then we get a bit of a sense of relief over here. And then we think, oh, okay, we're safe, only to find out when we see this pickup truck over here that, oh yeah, we're not really totally safe. Something is about to happen. And then we see Icicle here, and then our lovely Joy here goes to a better place. So we just need to make sure that we capture all of those in the right moments and everything syncs up where it needs to. As far as instrumentation goes for this show, we wanted to keep things pretty traditional for the most part. So like I said, we have a live orchestra for every episode, and the writing is very kind of, I want to say, almost old school action, like Back to the Future-ish kind of way in some parts. But of course, we have these new characters, and every character has their own leitmotif. But that's the way that we, with Jeff Johns, our creator and showrunner of the show, that we decided to approach the score for this series. Icicle has his own theme. We don't hear it too much in this particular scene, but it's kind of woodwinds and this kind of glassy, icy pad that we use for him. And Courtney, Stargirl's theme is fun and young and adventurous and epic, and can kind of grow and become big. And every even little character in these series, that we made sure that they have something of their own. But that was the approach that I chose for this. Here's some advice on working on this scene. There's quite a bit going on, obviously, with the sound effects, and there isn't a whole lot of dialogue, but the dialogue is quite important. So make sure when you hear Pat saying, "I got it," you carve out space for that. And of course, some of those things happen, with the dub when you mix it all together. But as you're writing, if there's sound effects, and if you're writing against the sound effects and dialogue will always win. So the more you carve out around those elements, the higher chance that your music will be actually heard. Just make sure that thematically you have, it doesn't have to be the same approach, but that there's a distinctive separation between all those different changes. We got the action, we got the drama, relief, tension. Because this approach that I have for the score is very theme based, it's very important where those thematic moments happen. So that's usually how I carve it out. The score is quite big and busy. So in its instrumentation and the choice of where the themes actually do enter, I make sure that I make space. We start out in this kind of panic frenzy mode with this bus scene right here. And then where I was talking about carving out for dialogue, right over here, he says, "I got it." And then we have a little bit of a space for him to say that line. And then when we see him flying, then we start with his theme in this approach. And then we go back into the frenzy mode again. The bus is about to fall. And then he catches the bus. There's another hero moment there. And then we go into Courtney's theme. But it's still kind of the underlying tension still going on. And then we take a breath. And then now we stop all that movement, and then we go into a mellow zone with strings and horns. When we go from that crazy action mode into drama, even just stopping the movement, all of the action underneath it, all the frenzy just makes us, and then harmonically we go into their theme, but in a really kind of the subtle, mellow version of that theme. So it's just taking out that movement underneath and then going into longer sustained chords and the prettier harmonies. After this relief moment here, I have this just the pedal note, and then I start layering with different pads and risers and string effects that just kind of keep building. I just keep layering, and then once we have the final crash, which is right here, we're out. So now I'm going to show you guys different sections of this cue and how it was all built and put together. The main driving source comes from the strings, and I'm going to play you that first, and I'm going to layer the horns and everything else and see how it all comes together. So starting out with the strings. So you can hear we have all the energy and all the harmonic support coming from the strings. And then I'll play the brass where all the big hero vibe, so to speak, comes from. And there it is. So that's that bit. And then I have a whole woodwind and percussion supporting it. But literally the meat and potatoes of a lot of the score in this particular cue is the string, the ostinatos and the runs and fills and the big horn theme. And then this part is just strings and horns just supporting the harmonies, the string harmonies. And then afterwards, once we go into sustain section, I have several different pads and string effects libraries, and just kind of keep building up and rising up till the end. Here's what I'm looking for in the winning entry. This is a scene that goes through quite a few changes in a short period of time. So while you're hitting all of those important moments, I want to make sure you bring in your own individuality and that you're fitting in the scene and bringing out the emotional content. Remember to tag #MyStarGirlScore when you share it. The entries closed August 12th, so please head to the link below for full details.